Hey there. I promised that we would talk about the beginning steps to living a created life, an intentional life. As you remember last time, I talked a little bit about how I had some personal things show up on my journey, um, including a fairly major illness that had me take pause and say, all right, well, what the heck am I doing? And I hope I didn't make it sound like in that next year, poof, I got clear and was able to create a life. I actually, part of why I want to do these videos for you is to give you some ideas about how to start so you don't have to take quite as much time as I did. And there is a certain amount of time that it takes because it begins as with anything with awareness. That's why the change journey that I talk about is so important. Awareness, analysis, action, achievement. So the first step is awareness, really getting clear. Where have you been shooting on yourself? One of the things that I like to do is look at every area of my life: financial, relationship, relationship with self, relationship with others, my spiritual life, my emotional life, my environment. Um, I look at every area of my life and give it a measurement on a scale of 1 to 5, 1 low, 5 high. And any place there's a number below 3, there's probably some shoulds present. Anything that's in a 4 or 5, you're probably in a pretty good place. But what I'm wanting you to rate it based on is how you feel about it. What's your experience of it? Does it feel good? Does it feel grounded? Does it feel like you? And so again, any place below a 3, uh, that's a place to begin to have some additional awareness. And the first question I always ask is, what's missing? What's missing that if it were in place would knock it up a number or 2? The other question I ask is, what currently isn't possible? So for a long time, for us, it felt impossible to pay off the debt. We had a lot of debt from from several former business adventures, and from some other lessons in life. And there were, guess I should call them business misadventures. Oh well, I digress. um, it felt really pretty impossible, and it took both some transformational work as well as some practical work, transactional work, to get to the other side of how we can make that happen. So those are the 2 questions for you: what is missing, and what is impossible? And these are questions I would invite you to journal on any number that is below a 3. Once you have done that, that's the analysis part. So that's when you're starting to look at it. Remember, analysis isn't judgment. It's really important that you're not feeling shame, or that you're blaming yourself or blaming others, because that energy is not that's energy that's wasted. It's not available for you to actually generate and create. Creation takes energy. And so if you're wasting it by the shame blame game, it's just not a good use of your energy. It's not going to be as effective. It's not going to allow you to move with velocity. So again, and so have a look. So what would it take to put those things in? What would it, and it might mean getting some help. It might mean calling a coach, in our case, speaking to a financial planner, about, what made the most sense. I actually ended up talking with probably, I don't know, 6 or 8 people, before I finally landed on the pathway that has us be debt free today. Woo! That's like one of my biggest adult achievements. I mean, except for the mortgage, then we're. um, and notice that celebrating is part of it too. So once you've done the analysis, then you take action, and you move forward, and that includes celebrating and acknowledging the ground taken, and lastly, that's when you get to achievement. Here's the kicker, though. Typically what happens is, as you up level, as you continue to evolve, you see more is possible. So my ratings might be lower today than they were 5 years ago, because now I have new goals. I have new things that I want to do. And so that requires, again, that next up level, that next level of creation, because shoulds take us by surprise. So don't again, don't get down on yourself. It's a good thing to keep a regular intentional practice. I schedule having a look at this on a fairly regular basis, quarterly, maybe every 6 months, depending on what's happening that year, just to check in to take the temperature. What you measure gets done. So that's another key aspect. So if you would like the list of all the areas of your life to have a look, I just rattled off a few of them, but if you would like that list, please get me the list in the comments below and I will get you the list. Until next time, it's Elise.